What's up everyone, we're going to be going through the best WNBA player props on PrizePicks today. Now I did want to show you the results from yesterday's picks from my exclusive Discord group, and as you guys see, we actually got 20 picks correct, which was absolutely insane. So we are on a huge hot streak, but if you want to get 20 picks right like me, win more bets and receive the best picks from some of the best bettors in the world for less than a cup of coffee, you can access the exclusive Discord and meet some of the best sport bettors in the game by joining my Patreon, which will be linked down below in the description. Once you join, you'll have complete access to the Discord and can start winning more bets today. So make sure to join my Patreon using the link in the description. And here's one of our members who just signed up and won himself $420 just yesterday, and another member who won $250 for the 6th day in a row since joining my Discord. So guys, if you want to win big money like our members, the link will be in the description, so go join the Patreon to have access to the Discord group, and I will be continuing to upload every single day on this channel the best bets and props, so make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my daily uploads. Quick shout out to Andre Simon 3835 who said, hands down, you're the hottest and most consistent on the internet. Greatly appreciate all the hard work and dedication. Thank you, sir. So shouts out to him for the very nice words. Also shouts out to Brad Henry 2618 who said, tuned in, new subscriber. So shouts out to them, and if you do want to win a shout out in the next video, all you have to do is comment down below in this video and like it, and you can be in the running to win a shout out in the next one. All right guys, so let's get straight into the first pick. So the first pick we're going to be talking about is none other than Rakia Jackson. So Rakia Jackson, great player from none other than Los Angeles Sparks, and this one is for 16.5 points for less, and this one is actually for less. So we've actually seen her actually go in the under in 2 out of the last 5 games. If you did see, on August 13th, faced off against New York Liberty, had 16 points there. Then August 16th, faced off against Dallas, had 15 points. Then August 18th against Washington, 17 points, 25 points against Dallas on August 21st. And then to finish off most recently against Phoenix, actually had 21 points on August 27th. So it's actually been pretty decent for Rakia recently, but still nothing really too convincing enough to us there. We have seen her on their average over the last 5 be 18.8. And we do see Los Angeles Sparks do face off against Indiana Fever. So looking at this matchup, we do see Los Angeles Sparks do actually rank 9th in the actual WNBA. On top of that, they have a record of 17 wins and 19 losses. Also on top of that, a 47.2% win percentage, 7-11 from home, 10-8 from away, and also a 1-game losing streak. So, they have been struggling just a little bit. They are currently ranked 6th in the Western Conference. And on top of that, they face off against Indiana Fever, where Indiana Fever do rank 6th in the actual WNBA. However, they rank 3rd in the Eastern Conference. So, we actually have seen them do a pretty decent job. And on top of that, we actually do know that they have 20 wins, 18 losses, a 52.6% win percentage, also 11-9 from home, 9-9 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So it is pretty interesting to see there. Obviously, looking at both of these teams and where they do rank, somewhat similar, 2 spots away from each other, but definitely somewhat in the same bracket. And looking at Indiana Fever defensively, we do know Indiana Fever do actually rank, when it comes to points allowed, they do rank 9th. So they don't really rank too well. However, when it comes to this matchup, the big reason why we do like the under for this situation here is that when we look at someone like Rakia Jackson, we do know she is a forward, and Indiana Fever actually do a fantastic job at restricting points to the forward position. So we definitely see that being a big factor here. We are expecting the under, as when we look on a per position basis, we do or are actually expecting the under for this one. On top of that, we also have seen Indiana Fever do a great job against forwards time and time again. So we definitely see that being a huge thing coming into this one. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for this one. When you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well. So Rakia Jackson, 16.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're actually going to be talking about none other than Aliyah Boston. So this is actually on the other side of that matchup. Aliyah Boston, great player for Indiana Fever, and this one is actually for 15.5 points, and this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Aliyah Boston, we actually have seen her go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. Now, looking at those 5 games, we see on August 16th, faced off against Washington Mystics, had 20 points there. Then, August 18th, faced off against Connecticut Sun, had a 14-point game.
game, and 15 points against Minnesota Lynx on August 23rd, 14 points against Minnesota off a back-to-back on August 25th, and then 27 points against Seattle on August 27th. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at Aliyah, we have seen her go on the under in 3 out of the last 5 games. But on top of that, we also have seen her over the last 5 average actually 18. Now, a big reason why her, average over the last 5 is slightly higher than her points is due to the fact that she did have an outlier game of 27 points against Seattle recently. And we definitely think that has brought this line a little bit too high for our liking. Now, Indiana Fever, as we do know, face off against Los Angeles Sparks, as we've mentioned. Now, just to remind you about this matchup, obviously Indiana Fever do rank 6th in the WNBA and 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Now, they do have a record of 20 wins and 18 losses, but over the last 10 games, they actually have a record of 4-6. Now, when we look at their matchup, Los Angeles Sparks, they rank 9th in the actual WNBA. They also rank 6th in the Western Conference, but they have 17 points, 19 losses, and on top of that, over the last 10 games, they have a record of 6-4. So, pretty interesting to see there. Now, looking at Los Angeles Sparks, however, on this side of the table, we do know Sparks do rank 13th when it comes to points allowed. So, unfortunately, they do actually rank last. But similar to the situation like we talked about before, when we look on a per position basis, we actually see a very, very different story. Aliyah Boston is a great player, but she does play usually, that center position most of the time. Sometimes she does go to forward. But what we have seen is that Los Angeles Sparks do a fantastic job at restricting points to the big position. Whether it's center, whether it's forward, Los Angeles Sparks do a great job defending that. And we definitely see that being a huge, huge factor coming into this game. Now, looking at a matchup like this, especially with someone like Aliyah Boston, we have actually seen her usage rate be a little bit on the lower side more than anything. It has been on the lower side quite often. So coming into this one, we are definitely expecting the under once again coming into this matchup. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the under for this situation here. And when you look at what the bookies are saying, bookies also have her favored for the under as well. So Aliyah Boston, 15.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick. Now, getting into the next one, we're going to be talking about none other than Dearica Hamby. The Dearica Hamby, great player. And this one is actually for 17.5 points. And this one actually is for less. Now, looking at Dearica Hamby, we actually have seen her go on the under in actually 1 out of the last 5 games. And looking at those 5 games, you see on August 13th, faced off against New York Liberty, had 21 points there. August 16th, faced off against Dallas, had 20 points. Then August 18th, faced off against Washington Mystics, had 26 points. Then August 21st, faced off against Dallas, had 13 points. And then Phoenix had 25 points on August 27th. So pretty interesting to see there. When you look at someone like Dearica Hamby, we definitely have seen her, do a pretty decent job. Now, although a lot of these picks are from the same game, it is because there are only a few games for today. We do like to pick the best picks, but unfortunately, they all are from the same matchup. Now, looking at this matchup, we do know when it comes to this game, it is definitely going to be an exciting one, but we have already touched on Los Angeles Sparks when it comes to, their actual rankings, same with Indiana Fever. But as we all know, the reason why we do like the points on the under, even though Indiana Fever do rank 9th in points, is that they actually do a fantastic job at restricting points to the forward position. Like we talked about Rakia Jackson. Rakia Jackson is a forward as well, and that's why we are expecting the under for someone like Dearica Hamby as well. So this one is kind of a no-brainer to us when it comes to what we have seen from the stats. When you look on a per position basis, similar situation to Rakia Jackson, which is why we do like the under for this one. So for that reason, Dearica Hamby, 17.5 points for less, I think is a fantastic pick.
So as you all know, I do want to get these picks out to you as soon as possible, but Prizepicks is delayed with some of their lines. So here are a couple of players you should definitely watch out for when their lines drop. So the first player we're going to be talking about is none other than Brittney Griner. So as you all know, Brittney Griner, great player for none other than actually Atlanta Dream. And she has done a fantastic job so far this season, actually averaging 9.8 points, 5.5 rebounds, and also 0.8 assists and 0.2 steals. So she's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at someone like Brittney Griner, we have definitely seen her do a great job. And now Atlanta Dream and Griner face off against Dallas Wings. Now, it is definitely going to be an intense matchup between both of these teams. Looking at someone like Brittney Griner and Atlanta Dream, we do know that they face off against Dallas, and looking at where both these teams do rank, starting off with Atlanta, we actually do know Atlanta come in at the 3rd spot in the WNBA. So they've actually ranked very, very well. And on top of that, what we also do know when it comes to Brittney is that, and Atlanta Dream, is that they also have a record of 24 wins, 14 losses, which puts them actually first in the Eastern Conference. So it is definitely exciting to see. Now, when you look at someone like, or a team like Atlanta, they also rank 12. They also have a record, of 12-6 at home, 12-8 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. Now, they face off against Dallas Wings in this matchup. Now, Dallas Wings do rank 13th in the actual WNBA. They rank very, very poor. So they pretty much rank last, and they also rank last in the actual Western Conference as well. Now, when it comes to their record, they have a much poorer record of 9-30. So 9 wins, 30 losses. On top of that, they have a 23.1% win percentage there. 5-16 from home, 4-14 from away, and are currently on a 6-game losing streak. So it is pretty interesting to see in there. But looking at this matchup, we do also know when it comes to actually, both of these teams. Looking at Dallas Wings defensively, we do know Dallas Wings rank 12th when it comes to points allowed. 13th when it comes to assists allowed, and then when it comes to rebounds allowed, we also do know that they rank 8th. So it is pretty interesting to see, but obviously when we look at Dallas Wings, they actually do a very, very poor job at, restricting points, rebounds, and assists, pretty much everything. And that's why coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the over for someone like Brittney Griner. Now, we also do see when it comes to, Dallas Wings, they actually struggle against a player of a center position, so they actually do struggle at restricting points, rebounds, and assists to the centers. So that's why we are expecting the over for a situation like this. Now, looking at Brittney Griner over the last 5 games, we definitely have seen her have some pretty big matchups. Looking at them more, we do know on the 18th, faced off against Golden State Valkyries, had a 79-63 win, had 8 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist there. On the 20th, actually faced off against Las Vegas Aces, had a 74-72 loss with actually 16 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists there. After that, saw them face off on the 22nd against Minnesota Lynx. Very, very tough team, but had a 75-73 win with 6 points, 8 rebounds, 0 assists in that matchup. After that, we saw them actually face off against New York Liberty on the 24th. Had a 78-62 win in there with 4 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. And then again, faced off against the Aces on the 28th. Had an 81-75 loss with 2 points, 5 rebounds, and 0 assists there. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone like Brittney Griner, we have seen her do a fantastic job over the last couple of games. And the fact that we also do see her face off against Dallas Wings, who are a very, very poor team, we should see a similar situation once again. So for that reason, definitely keep an eye out for the actual over for someone like Brittney Griner. I don't really think you need to focus on anything in particular. I see a lot of value there for her to be able to go on the over in this situation here. So Brittney Griner, keep an eye out for the line. If the line is under averages, then definitely look to go on the over. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Cameron Brink. So, Cameron Brink from Los Angeles Sparks, great player as we all know. And she's done a fantastic job so far this season, averaging 5.6 points, 4.3 rebounds, 0.5 assists, and also 0.5 steals. So she's done a fantastic job there. And when we look at this matchup, we do also see when it comes to Cameron Brink and also Los Angeles Sparks, we do know that they face off against none other than actually Indiana Fever. Now, it is going to be an exciting game between both of these teams, but looking at where both these teams do rank, starting off with Los Angeles Sparks, we have seen Sparks struggle quite a bit when it comes to, their ranking and just in general, because they currently rank 9th in the WNBA. Not only do they rank 9th in the WNBA, but they also do rank 6th in the Western Conference. They have a record of 17 wins, 19 losses. That's a 47.9%
88.2% win percentage, and also 7-11 from home, 10-8 from away, and are currently on a 1-game losing streak. So it is pretty interesting to see there. Now, when it comes to their matchup, they face off against Fever, as we've mentioned, and Indiana Fever do come in at the 6th spot in the WNBA. Now, they actually have a record of 20 wins, 18 losses, and they rank 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Now, they have a record of 20-18, but have a 52.6% win percentage, and are also 11-9 from home, 9-9 from away, and are currently on a 1-game win streak. So it's definitely been pretty decent for Cameron Brink and actually for the Sparks, but definitely not where they want to be for sure. And looking at a team like Indiana Fever, where they actually do rank, Indiana Fever do actually rank 9th when it comes to points allowed. When it comes to assists allowed, they rank 4th, and then rebounds allowed, they do rank 3rd. So, Indiana Fever have definitely faced quite a lot of injuries throughout the season, especially the main ones being someone like Caitlin Clark. But when it comes to their defense remains pretty strong in the rebounds and assists, but struggles a little bit on the points. And that's why, coming into this matchup, we do actually like the under for this situation here for someone like Cameron Brink, but strictly just for rebounds and assists. And a big reason being is, like we've mentioned before, when it comes to rebounds and assists, Indiana Fever do rank a little bit better in both of those categories. So that's why we are definitely expecting the under for those two there. Now, Cameron's usage rate out there has definitely been a little bit lackluster. We don't really see her being somewhat of a big player for this team. She definitely does struggle a little bit in some sense. So that's why coming into this matchup, we do very, very much like the under for the rebounding and assist department. Now, looking at, Cameron Brink and the Los Angeles Sparks and how she has done so far over the last 5 games, we do see on the 13th faced off against New York Liberty, had a 105-97 loss with actually 2 points, 3 rebounds, and 0 assists there. After that, on the 16th, faced off against Dallas, had a 97-96 win with actually 3 points, 7 rebounds, 0 assists in that matchup. Then on the 18th, faced off against Washington Mystics, had a 95-86 loss with 0 points, 2 rebounds, 0 assists there. And then on the 21st, faced off against Dallas Wings, had an 81-80 win with 11 points, 8 rebounds, 0 assists in that matchup. And then Phoenix Mercury on the 27th, had a 92-84 loss with 4 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists there. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone like Cameron Brink, we definitely have seen her, do a somewhat decent job in some games, but I think overall, she definitely has really struggled when it comes to kind of remaining a good usage rate in the rebounding and assist department. That's why coming into this game, we do very much like the under for this one, but strictly just for rebounds and assists. Now, she does have a little bit of a higher usage rate in the rebounding department, so we are expecting when it actually comes to Cameron Brink and PrizePicks, they may more likely have a line out for that actual, category, which is rebound. So definitely keep an eye out for that. But if there is one that comes out for assist, there's definitely a lot of value there. So keep an eye out for the under, especially if the line is too close to our averages. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Myisha Hines-Allen. So Myisha, great player for Dallas Wings. She's done a fantastic job, actually averaging 7.1 points, 5.5 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and also 0.8 steals. So she's definitely done a fantastic job there. Now, when we look at someone like Myisha and Dallas Wings, we do know that they actually face off against none other than actually Atlanta Dream. And it is definitely going to be an exciting matchup between both of these teams. Now, as we mentioned before, when it comes to, this matchup, we obviously talked about the rankings last time, but just to reiterate, Dallas Wings do rank 13th in the actual WNBA. They also rank last in the WNBA, but last in the Western Conference. Now, they do have a record of 9 wins and 30 losses, but also over the last 10 games, they have a record of 1-9. So it's definitely been very, very tough for Dallas Wings as of lately, even over the last 10 games. So they definitely have struggled there. But looking at their matchup, they face off against none other than Atlanta Dream. Atlanta Dream do come in at the 3rd spot in the WNBA, or 1st in the Eastern Conference. Now, they actually have a record of 24 wins and 14 losses, as we mentioned. But on top of that, we also do know that over the last 10 games, they've had a record of 7-3. So they've actually done a pretty good job there. Now, coming into this matchup, it's definitely going to be an exciting one. But we also do know when it comes to Myisha Hines-Allen, coming into this matchup, Atlanta Dream do actually rank second when it comes to points allowed, second when it comes to assists allowed, and then first when it comes to rebounds allowed. So they've actually done a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists, and that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the under for this situation here. So for that reason, I definitely keep an eye out for the under for this one. We definitely do very much like the under for someone like Myisha, due to the fact that Atlanta Dream have just shown time and time again that they do a fantastic job at restricting points, rebounds, and assists. Now, looking at, the 5 most recent games they have played, we did see on the 18th faced off against Las Vegas Aces, had a 106-87 loss with 9 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists there. Then on the 21st faced off against LA Sparks, had an 81-80 loss with actually 0 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist there. Then on the 23rd faced off against Seattle, had a 95-60 loss with 5 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. And then on the 25th faced off against Golden State Valkyries, had a 90-81 loss with 15 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist there. And then on the 28th faced off against Connecticut Sun, had a 101-95 loss with 18 points, 7 rebounds, and 0 assists there. So we definitely do very much like the situation here, because we have definitely seen Myisha at times struggle, especially against much better defensive teams. So that's why coming into this game, we are expecting a similar situation. Now, obviously, Myisha isn't also, the highest usage rate player in this team. When it comes to the matchups, we do know Myisha tends to play a bit more of a supporting cast. So that's why coming into a matchup like this, we do very much like the under for this one. So definitely keep an eye out for the under for this situation here for someone like Myisha. Now, getting into the next player, we're going to be talking about Shey Peddy from Indiana Fever. Now, Shey Peddy, great player, was obviously previously, in a different team and was recently acquired by Indiana. And she's definitely shown out and shown, some great things when it comes to what she's been doing so far. Now, looking at Shey Peddy and Indiana Fever, they actually, or her averages, she's actually averaged 6.4 points, 2.1 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and also 0.2 steals. So it is pretty interesting to see there. Now, obviously, coming into this matchup, we do also know when it comes to actually Shey Peddy, we also do know that they actually do rank pretty well, Indiana Fever, when it comes to their matchup that they face off against, which is none other than Los Angeles Sparks. We have already touched on it, but Indiana Fever do rank 6th in the WNBA, or 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Now, they actually have a record of 20-18, but over the last 10 games, they have a record of 4-6. Now, when you look at LA Sparks actually have a record of 17 wins and 19 losses, a 47.2% win percentage, and they also have a 7-11 record from home, 10-8 record from away, but over the last 10 games, I've actually had a record of 6-4 as well. So it's been very good, for Indiana Fever, in a sense that even without Caitlin Clark, they have been able to kind of remain somewhat in that good zone of making the playoffs and all that. Now, coming into this matchup, obviously Shey Peddy and also their matchup, Los Angeles Sparks, it is going to be an exciting game there. But Los Angeles Sparks do rank when it comes to points allowed. We do know that Sparks do actually rank 13th. When it comes to assists allowed, they rank 12th. And then rebounds allowed, we also do know that they rank 4th. So when we look at it, we actually do see that, Los Angeles Sparks do rank very poor at restricting points, rebounds, and assists. And that's why coming into this matchup, we do very much like the actual over for this situation here. Now, Shey Peddy was actually acquired from LA Sparks, which is interesting to see there. But coming into this one, we do very much like the over, as we are expecting someone of her caliber to be able to take advantage of it. Now, Shey Peddy doesn't have the highest usage rate in this team, but she definitely does still have a very good usage rate due to the fact that there are so many injuries for this Indiana Fever team. So we are expecting her usage rate to be a little bit on the higher side to make up for those injuries that she has faced off against. Now, looking at her last 5 games, obviously she was with LA before, but some of the games that she did play with LA, on the 27th face-off against Indiana, which is her team now, had an 85-75 win with 5 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. On the 30th face-off against Chicago Sky, had a 92-85 loss with actually 3 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist there. And then on the actual 23rd against Minnesota Lynx, actually had a 95-90 loss with 10 points, 0 rebounds, 4 assists there. On the 25th, faced off against Minnesota, had a 97-84 loss with 16 points, 0 rebounds, 1 assist there. And then on the 27th, faced off against Seattle, had a 95-75 win with actually 2 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist. So it is pretty interesting to see. Obviously, looking at someone like Shey, we have definitely seen her, do a fantastic job for this team, and we should see her do the same now for her new team against her old team.